I am Groot. 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 Hello, and I am Groot to everyone tuning into this yet again. My name is Nate, and this is our spoiler-free review for Marvel's I Am Groot Season 2. Special thanks, as always, to Marvel and Disney Plus Canada for giving us the opportunity to watch these shorts early for review. Before we get started, if you're joining us for the first time, we are Geekcentric, a podcast focusing on the world of movies, TV shows, games, toys, and collectibles, and all things geek-centric. Joining me are my fellow guardians of all things cute and all things Groot and all things toot. It's Megan and Justin. How's it tootin', guys?
Oh,
Toot, toot.
always tootin'. You know how I be.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
you know
Straight
how
up
I
toot.
be?
Toot, toot.
Justin, you didn't have a chance to join us for all the way back in around this time, actually, last year.
Yeah, season one.
For season 1.
Yeah.
But I started that review by kind of giving a really tough question because, like, this review and that review aren't very long because the series isn't very long. It's a series of shorts. But in that, I asked who's cuter, Baby Groot or Grogu. But this year, Justin, because you're joining us, I wanted to modify that question a little bit and ask yet another heartbreaking question. With the release of TMNT, Mutant Mayhem, we got to see the Turtles as teenagers, but there was a small little baby scene where we also got to see the baby mutant Ninja Turtles.
Tots, yeah.
The Turtle Tots. So I want to know who's cuter, Baby Groot or the Turtle Tots. Justin, I'll get you start off.
You might as well have just asked me who's cuter, Groot or my child, because I feel like the Turtle Tots are definitely like my children. Yeah, I would have to go with the Turtle Tots, at least for now. And a lot of that has to do with recency bias, because I just watched Mutant Mayhem, because now it's available on digital, so I immediately bought it in 4K.
And
I was
immediately
like, yes.
skipped ahead to watch,
Oh, yeah,
that scene.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So cute, so adorable. But, you know, Groot is incredibly cute as well. He has his moments, as we will discuss through this review.
Megan?
Yes, my opinion probably changed. I feel like I said Grogu last time.
I think you did,
Because I was really in the Grogu spirit.
Yeah.
And you know what? I feel bad for Groot, but I might have to also say the baby Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They are new and cute, and I feel like
Adorable.
so adorable, and I also feel like more babyish than Groot is at this point.
Oh, okay.
The Groot
Groot's
that
more
we're
toddler?
getting,
this
is more
is
of
teen
like a
Groot.
a
He's
child.
not Teen Groot.
Well,
No,
okay,
but he's
you're
like
right.
like an 8-year-old at this
Yes,
point. I feel like he's
exactly.
not a baby anymore.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's a lot less cute.
Yeah,
I mean, I gotta say, I loved the baby turtles. Like, I immediately wanted to cry.
So cute.
And I know they're planning a show with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on Paramount Plus. But, dude, if they made shorts with the baby turtles and Splinter's like chasing them throughout the city to like try to keep them, you know, kind of like a baby's day out situation, like trying to
Oh my
keep them
God.
safe the entire time, I think that would be awesome. But I think I'm gonna keep my answer from last year, and for similar reasons, as cute as they are, I haven't gotten to know the baby turtles, the BMNT, enough. As much as, you know, I've fallen in love with Baby Groot, and I think the entire galaxy has fallen in love with Baby Groot. So yeah, I think, you know, Paramount, give us more BMNT, give us more baby turtles, and Nickelodeon. Like, if you're listening, we want shorts from them. But no, for me, I'm going to stick with my my original answer of Baby Groot. So I'm excited to talk about this little scamp yet again. But just before we do, I do want to pause and remind you listening that we here at Geekcentric support the WGA and SAG-AFTRA as they strike to get the contract they deserve. Without incredible writers and actors, we wouldn't get all the wonderful stories like these adorable shorts that we love so much from director and writer Kirsten Lepore. So if you also want to support the actors and writers of the things that we love, you can do so by checking out the links in our description. But before we all get new noses, let's go over what this show is all about. Written and directed by Kirsten Lepore and produced by James Gunn, Kevin Feige, Louis D'Esposito, Victoria Alonso, and Brad Winderbaum. The troublemaking Twig returns to mischief in the second season of I Am Groot. This time, Baby Groot finds himself exploring the universe and beyond aboard the Guardian spaceships, coming face to face or nose to nose with new and colorful creatures and environments. Vin Diesel is back as the voice of Groot in 5 all-new shorts. I Am Groot Season 2 crash lands on Disney Plus September 6th. So let's get to our overall sort of our thoughts on this season. You know, we got 5 new episodes. It's a bit of a shorter season comparative to season 1. But I got to say, like, just visually, I was instantly reminded of how incredible this animation team is behind this series. The team at Luma they're continuing to deliver such a colorful look at Baby Groot's world. And I said it last year, and I'm going to say it again, but I think this is even more solid proof that Marvel could just get going on animated movies if they wanted to. I think the worlds and the planets in these shorts are so creative and so colorful. And I know we've got What If, and that's kind of on the animated side of the series. And I know we're going to get some animated stuff in, next year for on Disney Plus, but I would love like a this world that we're seeing in these shorts expanded into a movie. I think they could really have a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, that would definitely work. And I think that they to your point, they can totally lean into it. It's just finding, I guess, the right property where it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, it would be crazy if they had their own sort of, Spider-Verse, animated movie that could, really, establish that side of the superhero genre that they can lean into.
To keep it in canon, right? Because they like to kind of keep the stuff in canon as much as possible.
Yeah, and they're telling a story. They're trying to tell a cohesive story. I will say, these shorts, if you are someone who's like looking for crazy amounts of Easter eggs, there were some, but like there weren't a ton. And that's what I thought was really refreshing. Like, again, that's what's nice about these shorts. Apart from just the beautiful aesthetic and the animation team that's filling out the universe of Guardians of the Galaxy very much, with, I'm sure, the guidance of James Gunn and helping to help design some of these other creatures and other planets. But it's also just the idea that these are meant to be fun.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
And
that's all they
tell
need to
more
be.
of exactly, and they tell more of a character story than anything else. And I think that we can use a little bit more of that in the MCU. I get the overarching story, but what's nice is that, these animated projects feel very adjacent to the existing canon rather than feeling like they're wholeheartedly inside of it. And that's kind of nice.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you on that. As I've exhausted this opinion on here, I am going through a bit of a Marvel burnout, and these kinds of shorts and fun little bits of Groot don't make me feel that way, because, like you said, it doesn't have anything to do with the overall story, and I don't need to pay attention to what he's doing in order to understand other movies or whatever, and I don't need to have seen all of the Guardians to know Baby Groot. Like, you can meet him in this short form series, and I can also say people of literally all ages will enjoy this. I know a 2-year-old who would rather watch Baby Groot than like Bluey or Caillou or something.
Yeah.
He loves these shorts and will watch them over and over again. So great fun, lots of silly humor as always with Guardians, and it's super fun for all of the ages.
That's huge. I mean, Bluey is massive. So
I know.
Crazy.
I love
Luma is in their bag here, though. I think, and especially on the animation side, yet again, like I think Groot's facial animations are what really stood out to me this time around. I think the way he looks at a cup of hot chocolate is incredible, or his face when he smells wine for the first time, like a true connoisseur, despite the fact that he, a minute ago, he probably didn't even know what wine even was. It's so funny and it's so silly. And I think, without getting too spoilery, like, I loved getting to see him experience even more things this season, I think. And this is in the trailer, but we see Groot get a nose for the first time, which just looks absolutely ridiculous. Or we get to see him struggling to be a parent for the first time
Oh my God.
like in a certain way. And I think kind of what you were just saying, though, Megan, in terms of like a little bit of that burnout that you're experiencing, it's just nice to have this series bring us back to a simpler time with Groot. Right? It's after something so heavy like Guardians of the Galaxy 3, this is a really lovely, version of that world that we get to visit again and hang out with Groot.
It's a happy deflate.
It's just
Yeah.
it's nice. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the beauty of these shorts is how they're really just telling the story of how Groot's growing up, because we keep calling it, like we were saying, baby Groot. I don't really think, like you said off the
He's
top of the
just
show,
Groot now.
he's just Groot. That's why it's called I Am Groot. And what's great is that these shorts kind of fill out details about how Groot has grown up to inevitably be the character that we would see in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So I really just love how, these shorts, they're seizing the opportunity to tell these little stories that add so much value. But, Groot is so mischievous. He's so delightfully cute. And he's learning. He's like such an example of what discovery looks like at a young age, at different ages. But I thought it was so great when he's like parenting it. It was like almost like a sense of irony of what what he put the Guardians through. You know what I mean? And now he's kind of going through it himself, which was really adorable. But yeah, it's to your point, it's completely fun. It's for all ages, and it looks stunning. Like it's fantastic animation. The facial animation, when he is looking at the hot chocolate, or when he's running around smelling things, so great. Or when he's like frantically wanting ice cream. Like it's just the modes of expression that you see in his eyes and his face is just so well done. And yeah, shout out to the animation for actually emoting a character like that.
Yeah, and this is less time than the first season, but if you need something super easy to digest and you just want a fun, lighthearted experience, you could watch all 5 episodes in under half an hour. So it literally takes up none of your time.
I think it's 19 minutes in total, and I think it's such a delightful 19 minutes if you do want to binge it. I also think, though, like, if you want to kind of take some inspiration from Pixar and, in your own playback on Disney Plus, I mean, yes, there's 32 Marvel movies, and so between season 1 and season 2 of I Am Groot, you would only be able to cover 10 of them, but before you watch some of those heavier Marvel movies, pop on an I Am Groot maybe before or maybe after, and like have a nice little sort of light little palate cleanse. Exactly.
That's a great word. Yeah.
And I think it's Groot is singing the Marvel fanfare and fast forwarding, and I didn't realize that I didn't realize this in the first season, but in the second season I'm like, oh, they're doing that because, like, if they didn't, it would be 1/3 of the runtime of the episode just for the fanfare. So yeah, no, but I think
absolutely,
I think with these episodes being shorter, they're very digestible. They're very easy to watch, and I think you can watch them more than once. And that light bossa nova music that plays, I think Danielle Lupi is fantastic yet again. Because you can always tell, even beyond the animation, like you could also just close your eyes and you'd be able to tell through the music whether Groot is happy or grumpy or hungry, and it's so bouncy and fun. And yeah, I really dig the music in this series.
And I think there are some, there aren't a huge amount of Easter eggs, but for the Marvel watchers, there are some Easter eggs in there. So.
Well, he's in the trailer.
Okay.
Yeah, but we don't need to bring him up and spoil it for everyone if they haven't seen the trailer, Justin.
Okay.
I'm just saying, I think, though, without spoiling that, I do think that episode was so lovely because it reminded me so much of those old Looney Tunes cartoons where there'd be like a narrator that the character is like sort of like hearing and talking to. And it's just, again, it's one of those little things, that those little details where, again, for kids that watch Bluey, that want to watch I Am Groot, they can do that, but their parents can watch along and sort of get some of those nostalgic feels for some of the cartoons from when they were growing up. I think is really, really cute. Really Groot, if you will.
Oh, God.
But are we ready to move to our final thoughts and rating?
Yeah.
Okay. Which we're going to be rating on a scale of 1 to 5. Yet again, 1 to 5 Groot toots. And Justin, I'm going to have you kick us off.
Yeah, I think it's a very good continuation from the first season. It's it's an excellent example of how you can leverage short storytelling from the music, from the animation, from just the simple narrative of Groot growing up, and seeing these moments in his life where, have definitely probably shaped him in some way. And they're cute. He's delightfully mischievous, and he's a character that everyone loves. So I wish there was more, but I get that there's a lot of effort. So I'm going to say,
and like their animation teams, like already in the news, there's been some, it's been rough on that side. So I get it, but I don't know how much Luma is a separate team compared to maybe like the core animation teams at Marvel, visual effects teams at Marvel, right?
Effects teams, there's a lot of things going on. I don't.
But I agree with you. I do want more. I always want more.
I want more. I do, and I feel like 5 is a good introduction, but that's what season 1 was.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? I think they could have maybe gone a little bit more. I would have waited longer if it meant that we could have gotten 3 more.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
Not had these out until maybe the beginning of next year, or towards March or something like that. So that said, I do think that these stories are cute, and I think everyone's going to enjoy them. They're for all ages, like you said, Meg, and the animation is it's stunning. So I'm going to be giving this one a 4 out of 5 Groot toots.
Beautiful. Megan, how about yourself? How many toots are you tooting?
Tooting up a storm over here.
Woo!
No.
Yeah, it stinks.
No, I thought it was super cute and fun, easily digestible. It's so quick. You kind of finish it. So I totally understand where you're coming from, where it would be nice if there were a few more episodes, but now we have 10 of them though.
Yeah, that's true.
They're really fun, really cute. The music's great. The stories are great. They're all different and inventive. Not a single episode feels like a previous one. And they're all innately Groot. So I am also going to give this 4 out of 5 Groot toots.
Beautiful. Last year was season 1. I think I mentioned, honestly, how you're going to love these little shorts. And I think the same is true yet again for season 2. I think the only minor gripe I have, and I'm glad you two brought it up, is just the fact that I think the marketing for this says season 2. It doesn't feel like a season 2. It feels like a part 2 of season 1. More so. And I know that's semantics, but at the end of the day, when if you're doing a season 2, step it up a little bit. And I do think there is one episode in this, but the one episode in this that does feel bigger, it does still feel like it would make more sense as a finale for a 10 episode season of season 1. Anyways, I know I'm sort of picking at twigs here, but no, I think to have a little bit more that would differentiate from season 1 even more so, I think would be really helpful. But that being said, it's such a delightful little series of shorts, and if you're feeling low or you just need to smile, I Am Groot season 1 and 2, and now 2 they'll provide you with the joy that you need to get back up and chuckle again. And I think you can't help but just fall in love with baby Groot and Groot all over again. He's so full of life, and I think it just goes to remind you how much personality this character has, even though he can only say 3 words, 2 words and his name. I have no reason to give this anything but a simple little 4 out of 5 Groot toots. Watch it, have fun. If you're feeling low, watch it again. It's not going to change your life. It's not going to set up the next phase of the MCU.
Which is perfect.
It's perfect. It's going to make you smile. It's going to make you laugh. And I think in the same way that I really didn't care that the Werewolf by Night didn't connect to everything. I'm happy that this is kind of in that same vein, but much more Megan digestible way than that one. But that is it. We hope you enjoyed this spoiler-free review for I Am Groot season 2. And if you did, make sure to subscribe to us wherever you like to listen to podcasts. And if you want to Groot into the show and Groot us with your thoughts on this series or any of the content our branches cover, Megan, can you let our cute Groot listeners know how they can reach us?
They can reach us at wearegeekcentric@gmail.com. That's wearegeekcentric@gmail.com. Or if that's not quite your tooty little fancy, you can find us on Instagram at wearegeekcentric. And on the X, are we calling it? Or is it still Twitter?
I would call it the app formerly known as Twitter.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yes.
And also on the app formerly known as Twitter at Geekcentric YT.
There we go. I know it's been a while for you, Megan, so I appreciate that.
And I didn't have it written out in front of me.
It's all good. It's all good. You've got your tootie little toots going. So, and keep in mind, you can also keep up with us and all things Marvel and all things geeky and all things Groot on our Discord. You can write in, and we may even feature your questions or comments on on our show. So if you want to join the Discord, you can use the link in our description. And then keep in mind, we have a ton of other episodes covering the latest and greatest summer releases out now, including our recent spoiler-free reviews for Ahsoka episodes 1 and 2, Only Murders in the Building season 3, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, Haunted Mansion, Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer. Plus, we have a ton of great interviews that you can go back and watch with all sorts of wonderful Marvel folks, including our interviews with the directors of Secret Invasion, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, She-Hulk, Miss Marvel, and Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. We also have interviews with Marvel writers like Jessica Gao and Michael Waldron, and interviews with some incredible Marvel actors like Kingsley Ben-Adir, Sean Gunn, Chakudi Awuji, Catherine Newton, and Mantis herself, Palm Clementieff. So you can check out all those interviews here on your podcast service of choice, or you can watch them over on YouTube at youtube.com/geekcentric. We also have our watch club going on right now for Star Wars Ahsoka, which we've all fallen head over heels for. I'm so looking forward to we're putting out new episodes Thursdays and Fridays, and honestly, the discussions have been, if I do say so myself, really, really, really fantastic. Lots of really good theories, juicy theories. So we're gonna, we kind of share our our spoiler filled thoughts and theories on what's going on in a galaxy far, far away. So give those episodes a listen. Leave a 5-star review if you don't mind. And lastly, I'm streaming on Twitch over at twitch.tv/NatePlaysGames. So if you want to come play games with me, sometimes I sing, sometimes I do giveaways. We might do like a Marvel or Disney trivia coming up, I'm thinking, at some point, which would be fun. And I will be playing this year's biggest title, or one of this year's biggest titles, Starfield, on the 6th. So you can watch I Am Groot Season 2 and then come watch me in space, probably struggling just as much as he does. But Megan, Justin, thank you so much for joining me for this Grooty Groot review. And as we say, I am Groot. Love ya.
I am Groot. Bye.
I am Groot. Peace.